Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is NTTV News at Noon.
Good afternoon, I'm Donald Britton.
And I'm Cassie Larson, and today we are celebrating the Great State Fair of Texas. And you know, it is great weather. It's a little bit muggy, but we're still having fun.
Right, that rain that we had earlier has passed. Now it's time for fun and food.
Let's check in with our weather anchor, John Dean, for the first look at weather to see what we can expect later this afternoon and in the evening. John?
It is currently a beautiful 82 degrees in Denton right now with 20 miles per hour winds and cloudy skies all around. As we move into tonight, those winds will calm down to just 9 miles per hour, but that temperature is going to stay roughly the same at 81 degrees. However, as we move into tomorrow, it's going to get significantly cooler with 54-degree weather tomorrow and 22 mile per hour winds. Also going to storm a little bit tonight, so watch out for that. That's all I've got for the first look. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, John. Well, let's hope that rain holds off until after the State Fair closes tonight. And for those of you who don't know, the State Fair has been around for 132 years, and it has been held at the same location here at the State Park since it began. One of the things people are always the most excited about is the food. From corny dogs to cotton candy to the most unusual fried foods you could imagine. Food and the State Fair go together. The very first time people got a chance to taste the famous corny dog was back in 1942. But the corny dog was just the beginning. The Big Tex Awards are given out each year for the best fair food, and competition is intense.
At NTTV, we always want to cover the food stories. That way we get to meet the people who create the new, delicious, and crazy treats. This year, our very own Brandon Rubalcaba won the toss and is going to introduce us to some of the treats you might want to try.
If you're looking to satisfy your sweet tooth, stop by Han Mueller's for some black gold truffles.
We've got several locations on ground. 3 locations serves the truffles, and this is our premier location, our biggest spot. This is where we fry the truffles, and what it is a crushed Oreo cookie with sour cream made into a ball. The sour cream kind of holds it together, and then a graham cracker crust, and then we cover it with marshmallows, some chocolate sauce, after of course it's been fried, just to give it a little bit of tenderness. And they taste great cold or warm, either way, and they're a great dessert.
And if you're looking for something a little more fishy, head down to the Gulf Coast Grill, where the food will have you hooked.
The Gulf Coast Grill is what we call a soft area. It's a place where you can eat, drink, relax. I've had a lot of good luck with the Big Tex Choice Awards fried food contest. This year I have a finalist, which is my Texas cream corn casserole fritters. With the sauce is a cream corn queso blanca. And then my semifinalist is actually doing almost as well as my finalist. I have the Cajun crab bombs, which are on the sign right here behind me. We have Maryland-style crab cakes, which means very little filler, real lump crab meat with a shrimp inside, remoulade, and hush puppy.
So come sink your teeth into something delicious at the State Fair. But hurry, because they close October 20th.
And we'll be tasting some of those creations later today in the show so that we can report back to Brandon.
That sounds great, Cassie. I'm hungry. I know you are too. But before we eat, let me tell you a little more facts about the State Fair of Texas. Did you know that Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, performed here in 1956? Back in 1897, the featured exhibit was an 80,000-pound whale that had been preserved in embalming fluid. Now, what are the busiest days? Well, that would be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, just before the fair closes. Last year, over 2 million people attended the State Fair. This year, it closes on October 20th, so you have to come out and enjoy the festivities.
Wow, 2 million people last year? Well, with all this great weather we've been having, I feel like we could definitely beat it.
Well, I sure do hope we too. When we come back, John will tell us more about how the weather is looking over the weekend. Stay with us as we broadcast live from the State Fair of Texas.
Every time you let go of balloons, they leave the troposphere, sail past the clouds, and enter the stratosphere where they eventually lose their helium. Then they come back down to Earth where they can disturb ecosystems by landing in ponds and lakes where cute little turtles and bubbly fish can then choke on the remains. But the trouble doesn't stop there. Balloons can also land in power lines where they can create surges that knock out electricity, meaning the apocalypse as we know it. No power, no Wi-Fi, no Twitter, no order. Just a world engulfed in chaos where fire is law and human beings are forced to communicate face to face. So don't let it happen. Don't let them go.
When you are in space, you can't run down to the store to buy parts. You have to improvise with what you have on your mission. Making is when there is something new that was not in existence at the beginning of the day. Okay. It's an incredible sense of accomplishment when you have made something. That's why I make. Now I want to hear why you make.
Share your own Why I Make story today. Visit whyimake.org.
Knowledge of an alleged sexual assault that occurred in September in West Hall. Following this report, another female student stepped forward with a second sexual assault reporting. UNT police have determined that the alleged assaults are by the same person, and yet this person has not been identified yet, but has been banned from campus. The investigation is still ongoing, and the UNT police encourage those with knowledge to please come forward. Boxing champ Errol Spence Jr. is in the ICU today after he crashed a Ferrari near downtown Dallas. He was not wearing a seatbelt and was ejected from the car. Police say Spence was speeding and when he lost control, causing his car to roll several times. He is expecting to survive.
Well, one of the most recognizable people here at the State Fair of Texas is Big Tex. First introduced at the 1952 State Fair of Texas, Big Tex welcomes millions of people to the fair every year. He stands at 55 feet tall, wears a size 96 boot, and sports a 95-gallon hat. And he's gotten a makeover a few times in the last 67 years, including after he caught fire and burned down in 2012.
Even though it's a little bit muggy out here, it's still not a bad day to go to the fair.
Right, it's not, as long as that rain holds off. John, can we expect any more showers this evening?
Thanks, guys. It's currently low to mid 80-degree weather all across North Texas at the moment. It does get slightly cooler in certain spots than others, but it's mostly uniform across the North Texas area. As we take a look out into the regional map, though, we'll see some slight variation, with it as low as 54 up in Amarillo and 70 in Oklahoma City. Other than that, mid to high 80s across the state. If we take a look over, though, at our 7-day forecast, we'll see that it's going to get significantly cooler as we move throughout the week. It's going to be mostly cloudy for the rest of the week with very low lows, including this weekend, a low of 38 on Friday and 50 on Saturday, highs of 62 and 65 respectively. That's all I've got for weather. Back to you guys at the desk.
Every Wednesday, the State Fair of Texas hosts sensory-friendly mornings from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. They welcome people with autism, other intellectual disabilities, their families, and anyone else who might benefit from a sensory-friendly experience.
This is Leo. He's 7 months and he has definitely enjoyed the room. It is a quiet zone and it is for our sensory-friendly days, but I have nursed him in here and that's been very convenient as a nursing mother at the fair. We see all types of families. If they just need a break, if a child seems overwhelmed, then they can kind of come in here and take a break and get their bearings together.
On top of making sound and light adjustments, the fair will provide an itinerary so that the families can get the most out of the sensory-friendly mornings.
Well, it's a big weekend here in Fair Park.
That's right, the Red River Showdown is this Saturday at the Cotton Bowl, and our anchor Shaji Adam has a preview of that and more coming up in sports.
Thanks, guys. It's actually my very first time being at the fair, and I gotta say, I am actually having a great time. But like you said, Cassie, a long-standing rivalry in college football has returned, and UNT prepares for a big division game. I'll have the details next.
Life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire, but you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
What does it look like when a life is truly changed?
I feel a sense of accomplishment because I built a house. This house has brought us financial independence.
Yeah, así está. Every family dreams to have their own house. This house changed our lives.
Habitat for Humanity is at work in your community and around the world. Through shelter, we empower.
Every family dreams to have their own house. This house changed our lives.
Habitat for Humanity is at work in your community and around the world. Through shelter, we empower.
The sky is blue, the clouds are white, and Texas versus OU is one of the best rivalries in sports. Both teams have traded victories over the years and have created countless unforgettable moments. The Sooners are coming into this game undefeated, but Jalen Hurts will have to bring his A game and then some against a 4-1 Longhorn team led by Sam Ehlinger. Even if you're not a college football fan, the atmosphere, the fans cheering, it's definitely a sight you do not want to miss. The Dallas Mavericks were on the road yesterday as they went against the Detroit Pistons. Luka Doncic put on a show by leading the team in points, rebounds, and assists. However, the spreading of the ball by Detroit led the Pistons to win 124-117. The Mavericks are now 0-2 in preseason, and their next matchup is tonight at 7:30 against the Milwaukee Bucks. Moving on to the Mean Green, and boy, are they going to have a great football game this Saturday as they are in a key division matchup against Southern Miss. The last time these two teams met, UNT came away with the win at Apogee. This is a must-win for UNT as they hold on to first place in the division. Overall, it's going to be a tough matchup, but I think they'll be able to pull away with the win. You know, I'm actually feeling kind of hungry. I'm going to go get some food, so back to you.
Thanks, Shaji. Well, if you are heading to the fair this weekend, here are little things you can expect. This weekend will be great weather for the midway and all of the exciting rides, but also it's a time to see some unusual things. You can catch the Texas butter sculpture, literally a huge statue made of butter. The theme is celebrating Texas creativity. Then there's a Farmer Mike, the pumpkin carver, the youth dairy cattle show, and if you want to spend a little extra money, an international mercado show filled with great items to buy. So all in all, a weekend filled with things to do at the State Fair.
Well, all that is great, but right now it is time to eat. I have a deep fried milk and cookies on a stick. It looks amazing. What do y'all have?
I have Lermer's mango with some seasoning on there. Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I got me a chalupa, and it is Thrifty Thursday, so I saved myself a little bit of money there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big meat eater. I had to go with the classic turkey leg.
Yeah.
All right, I say we go ahead and try this.
Let me try that. I actually want to try that. No,
Oh my God, that is so
It tastes
good.
pretty
Let me
good.
eat the fork.
You want to try?
Oh my God.
I bet that's
It's
good.
really good.
This is really good. How's your turkey leg?
It's amazing.
It's stuck to the
I
roof of
don't
the
eat meat,
mouth.
but I'm pretty sure
Really?
it's
I
good.
know.
That's really good.
It's real rough.
Oh wow, that's
What do
better
you
than I
have
thought it
here?
would
I got
be.
chalupa.
That's pretty good.
It's
How's
Thrifty.
it
I haven't
going?
tried it yet. I really want to try the other
Go
things.
ahead and go.
I really recommend this.
Oh, that was really good.
It looks really good.
Definitely worth it.
Well, thanks for joining us on NTTV News at Noon.
Join us again tonight at 6 for NTTV Nightly News.